The Inform project, informing pre-funding peer review to increase the informativeness of randomized trials. A Trial Forge project led by the University of Aberdeen. Good Practice Action 7. Use future-proofing measures to safeguard trial integrity and ensure technologies remain relevant, reliable, and unbiased.
Good Practice Action 7 focuses on future-proofing, and I think this is one of the most practically challenging areas we face in clinical trials today. The core idea is this: a trial can take years to complete, and the world doesn't stand still while it runs. Technologies evolve, clinical practices shift, data systems get updated. And if we don't plan for that from the start, we risk ending up with findings that are compromised or technologies that are no longer fit for purpose by the time we reach our endpoint. Good Practice Action 7 asks specifically about anticipating how practice might change during a trial and designing for it. In practice, this means asking hard questions at the design stage. For example, what assumptions are we making about how this technology or process will behave in 2, 3, or 4 years, or even longer? If we're using a digital tool for data collection, for example, will it still be supported? Will it introduce new sources of bias we haven't accounted for? So to make it concrete, imagine a trial that begins recruiting in 2026 using a wearable device to monitor a key outcome. In 2028, a newer version of that device is released with a different algorithm. Suddenly, data collected early in the trial isn't directly comparable to data collected later. So that's a real threat to data integrity, but it's entirely foreseeable if you ask the right questions at the design stage. The guidance here is clear. Use a risk of bias tool, for example, the Cochrane risk of bias tool, but before the trial begins, not after. Identify the vulnerable points early. You could also use the InspectRS tool specifically for assessing the trustworthiness of randomized controlled trials. The bottom line is that future-proofing isn't about predicting the future. It's about building enough flexibility and foresight into your design that your trial remains rigorous, relevant, and unbiased, whatever changes come. Future-proofing is a planning activity, not a rescue operation. Build it in at the start, because making changes mid-trial is costly, disruptive, and it might actually compromise the very integrity you're trying to protect.
To find out more about the Inform project, including the full list of 12 good practice actions, supporting resources, and publications related to the project, go to trialforge.org/inform.